Right, well, speaking of love, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to witness and watch as two teams make love to each other in the form of Age of Empires 4.
If you think this is love, you have some toxic relationships. There's a lot of fighting going on here.
That's true, actually. So let's talk about what we've got going on. We got over on the east side of the map, we got VortiX, we got TheMista. These guys playing the Mongols, the English, respectively. And it's going to be an early barracks coming out from TheMista. No real surprises there. Over for VortiX, the Gur moving up towards the north side. We've got an Uvu that's down towards the center. We'll check in over on the west side, though. So we've got Puppy Paw and Wham, the two brothers from Canada.
That's really far from the TC. That Uvu for VortiX is not a comfortable one. Somehow the spawn seems to have pushed a lot of his stone really far away, and I guess maybe he moved away from it. But yeah, that's far. That's a lot of opportunity to attack. We'll wonder how he'll adapt to that going forward. His gold isn't even that close with it either, so...
Not the best spawn here for him, is it? Like, you don't have gold or stone under the TC. Both your gold and your stone is exposed. This is, I mean, yeah, it's not pretty. But at least we got men-at-arms, though. Interestingly, it looked like Puppy Paw didn't go for a military school opening. Can we double check on the base of Puppy Paw? Just get an idea of what he's got going on right there. He did go for military school, but it's quite delayed. So it didn't look to rush this one up.
You delay it when you want to get a lumber camp. You can make it faster if you don't do a lumber camp and you rely on strags. But if you do this build, you get the barracks right away. Yeah, I really like this build order. I think it's really good. But the men-at-arms are already here to play.
So my question is, why are we going for a lumber camp when we have straggler trees?
Because this map doesn't have super close strags, from what I can tell. There's some maps with them a little closer now, right? And also, you're gonna go through a lot of wood. So you can rely on strags, but it's not ideal. Already 2 men-at-arms though, and did he?
Yeah.
Cancel the barracks?
Yeah.
He pulled the Vil off the barracks.
He pulled the Vil off the barracks. I think he's just said, don't worry about it. We're not. No, he didn't. He said, whoa, god damn it, man. Like, my damn villager stopped building the barracks. Look at that damn thing. Yeah, that was accidental. Oh, did you see that? That was cute. Did you see that? Deletes the lumber camps before the Mongol player gets there.
Yeah, and the Khan was just around the corner, so timing it nicely, because the Khan, I think, had shot it once or twice.
Yeah.
And the Khan shooting it does count, so if you cancel after it gets damaged by the Mongols, or delete after it gets damaged by the Mongols, they still get the bounty. So it's really hard to stop with the Khans around, because he just shoots every building, and then if you delete, you give up res. But yeah, good gameplay there, good game sense. But yeah, this build order, not ideal. It's gonna get doubled.
Yeah.
Oh, out of range.
Yeah, it feels painful, right? Because it all just comes down to base building. You know, one of the things I love to harp on is base building. I think there are two big civs, or two civs that have really important base building. Number 1 is China. Number 2 is Ottomans. And I can't help but feel like a very questionable decision when it comes to the placement of this barracks right here. And it looks like it's going to get punished hard. But look at this. Wham bringing over some spearmen himself. Looking to reinforce this position a little bit. Plenty spears coming out for Puppy Paw here. It is Dark Age Wars right here. 4 colors of infantry. But where's Wham? Get over here, Wham. We need you.
I'm not getting the units across the map in time.
Or a little bit of a counterattack. Instead, going to apply some pressure to the Uvu. I like the fact he's brought 3 spearmen over here as well. And now the numbers...
makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Numbers looking decent for Puppy Paw on the defense here. Needs to pull a villager out to start repairing this barracks. Doesn't want to let it get too low. If it gets ignited, that's going to be real trouble.
That 3 man-at-arms, 4 man-at-arms coming out for the English player. This is a huge investment. That's enough food to go feudal age. So they're prioritizing this attack over a lot of things, right? So very expensive. Now this is a map with all the food from the pawns, so you want to be the one aggressing so that you can take the pawns at home. And it looks like the spearman gonna take a really good engagement. I don't know what VortiX was just doing there, but he just kind of let Mista's men-at-arms die.
It was a bit
engagement.
A bit strange, but I guess the men-at-arms can't really run away, right? Because the spearmen are much faster, and they've got the dive ability, or the charge ability, right?
Charge, yeah. True.
All right, well, we start to see age-ups coming through, and it is no surprise Wham is trading. Or at least looking to start trading at some point in this game. Silver Tree going up. There's a beautiful trading post over on the west side of the map, tucked away in the corner. So he could even look for double production over towards it. Start building up those numbers. I think with the Mongols, it's a civilization that can probably take much better advantage of this double production than a civilization like the Malians. So what I'm trying to refer to is the full length of the map production of traders. Because ideally, you want to be producing your traders right next to that trade post. But here, playing as the Mongols, you can actually do it across the map, and it's not that bad because you're doing double production. And it's cheaper.
Yeah, I'm wondering about these army counts and what these spearmen are going to do long term. Oh, and going for the field work VP. That's such a good vizier point. It's so strong with these spearmen as the front line. It'll constantly heal them up with 1 HP per second, and it's a really underrated amount of healing. And if you don't have the ways to kill it, it can be really annoying to deal with because it just makes these fights so good long term.
I just get scared because it means, like, surely the Mongol player can just hit the speed button and just snipe it out with a couple of... I mean, even spears could probably snipe them out.
You have to block. You can't really rely on running away in that situation, but we'll see how this looks in a moment. They could also heal each other, which is also a really potent part of it. But I love this Vizier point. I think it's one of my favorites in terms of just like how cool it is. But yeah, well, I kind of generally think that the meta is better. But notably, in games, this might be better because the monks heal everybody, whereas the meta only buffs yourself.
That's a good point, actually. I would agree with that. Because I'm not a big fan of the meta. I don't like the fact that you're spending a point, you get a meta, which is a unit that you can train in the second age, and you just get an aura on it occasionally when you move your units in the same group. It just seems so niche. But it has become more and more meta to be seeing the landmark, or rather the Vizier point coming out.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, it combos really well with units that you don't build from the stable. So, like, you don't really want to dedicate a military school to training that meta for so long, right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of that is you don't always want to stable super early as Ottomans. Not always. Sometimes you do. But with the meta, you want a lot of archers and a couple spears, right? So, really interesting gameplay there. But we'll see these players trying to use these monks to high effectiveness. So
I'm curious whether he looks for a castle age. So one of my theories is if you're playing the Ottomans and you do go for that, you should be looking for an earlier castle age than normal, just because it gives you the flexibility to pick up relics. Speaking of relics on this map, it looks like we've only got 4 relics that have spawned in.
No, there's... Oh. That? Why?
I don't know.
I guess maybe it failed to spawn, or... There's no way it's hiding behind a board, right? We're confident?
Yeah.
I don't see one.
Actually, I do see a 5th relic. There's a 5th one. I don't... No, that's a 4th relic. Never mind.
I spy with my little eyes. No relics.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of relics. So, it's missing that extra 3. So, that's the second time today that this has happened. We're missing a number of relics. Was it the same map as well? I think it might be the same map.
I don't remember.
Thank you very much to Schumacher, gifting up some subs right there. Sounds like I feel like my ears were just met with the sounds of CS:GO Season 2, as the new cases have come out and you've just bought a whole bunch of keys.
That was a cool audio as well for that, I'm just gonna say. But anyway, this game is actually unfolding before our eyes as the trade getting punished by Wham. This is really tough.
Yeah, you can see
one trader goes down.
All over the map at the moment. VortiX doing a decent job though, up against the villagers of Puppy Paw. Age up still definitely a mile away from him at this point. Not a huge...
but Wham and Puppy Paw also have the trade going, so they have a better trade setup. Look at that. At the top, you can see the trader count 7 to 3. really good stuff that Wham is doing the same thing, but just a little bit better, a little bit safer. Like they're not catching it.
Yeah, yeah. Now the next Vizier point comes through. I don't know about you guys. I still feel like the Vizier point's loud. I say it. I say it every time.
The more I hear it, the more I think it sounds like a party popper.
Yes, yes, like
yeah, like a kazoo. Not a kazoo. Like those things that you blow that like pop out. It sounds very fun. I guess I should say.
That sounds very fun.
Indeed. We're getting a little loopy here, Gerongo. We gotta focus. The game is happening. This is super cool. Oh, down to 2 traders is VortiX. He's getting punished hard for this opening.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 8.
I gotta say, I love what Puppy Paw's doing. Take a look in the middle of, or just outside Puppy Paw's base. We've got some walls going up towards the north side. I love this. I think this is super smart. Guarantees that the Mongol player isn't going to be able to come behind and attack you, and also increases the integrity of that trade route.
And looks like one trader did go down, but quickly replaced. So players, like a lot of the armies, are spending their times in the wings looking to deny, shut down these traders, prevent them from getting those really lucrative trips. It's more valuable, it's more possible, I would say, to spend your time hunting traders than to try diving TCs early game for like spare vills, right? Out here on the edge, on the fringes, a lot of value, but diving a TC won't net you a huge return. Whereas killing 2 or 3 traders is super worth it. And they're a lot easier to kill, right? Because they're so spread out.
Yeah, yeah, I've got to agree with you completely. It makes a lot of sense. I can see Wham now going to be losing his ones out. But the units exposing where they were. So it means the cleanup is going to be possible. We can see the horsemen moving back now across the map. But keep in mind, Wham is aging up. Looking to that castle age now. It's going to be a huge emphasis here on knights or lancers. Going to be able to clean up the forces back at home and also start threatening that trade line even more from his enemy.
And skirmishes happening all over the map, just trying to control and protect the trade all along this. But the steppered out, interestingly, coming in alongside trade. Again, not going for the curl tie, and this is a map that's a lot more closed. So I'm not saying it's a bad move not to go curl tie, but I do think there is value in it in this case when you already have trade and you're keeping it alive, right? This is 4 trades are about to finish in front of us. Like, you're not going to need that steppered out gold for quite a while. So we'll see.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. There was a trader there that almost went the way of the dodo, but fortunately, the line of sight from the stealth forest was able to block it. Subsequently, the longbows were cleaned up by Wham. But now we head back towards the middle of the map. Outpost being pushed down upon by Mista. He's got a decent little mass here. Let's take a look at the base of Mista and see what he's up to. Is it still just going to be... Is it just going to be one base coming out from him at this stage? I suspect it's probably going to be that way.
That's a nice raid, though, and he's not going to notice it. And all the vills go down. VortiX with a really beautiful surround there. Once you get to that number of men, you have enough to like trap vills against walls and corners, and this tower is going to go down and push off these fish. But like, this was a really greedy spot to be taking fish, right? I guess he's out of fish in the back, so he had to go there.
Yeah, makes it so hard because there's a part of me that's just like, well, don't even put yourself in that position. But King's Palace now coming through for the Mista. Age up coming in. So we do see the first of the castle ages coming through for Los Pollos Hermanos. Yes, indeed. No risk, no biscuit. Now, we've seen before today, or rather, we've seen today previously, that Castle Age English is actually pretty decent in team games. It is like, you don't mess around with this guy. It can carry. Do we potentially see Mista carrying right now?
Potentially. It really, really, really depends on the unit composition they go for, right? And the Civ comp. Jeez, I can't speak anymore. Basically, if you have a situation where the man-at-arms with armor-clad are getting free reign over your opponent's eco, it could just be devastating, right? Kind of like the Burger Rush, but a little slower, but from a bigger eco behind it, right? So, like, we could see that, but I'm not sure. This map is pretty big. Like, players are pretty far away. Getting to that really lethal man-at-arms mass will take time, but Mista's already up to 16, and Armorclad should be coming in pretty soon for him. And that could be really hard for spearmen and archers to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, I would suspect Wham might be looking to move into a bit more of a crossbow-based composition. We do see he's obviously added in quite a few lancers already, but crossbows might be the next port of call for him. Prizepool also going to be aging up. The MIA going to be coming down for him, and now fair bit of idling right happening up towards the north side. VortiX going to be losing quite a few villagers here.
10 traders to 0, and this is what's happening to your Mongols. They have no trade, now no sheep, and their whole economy is running to the left, but there are lancers in the mix. These knights are just going to run these vills forever. And here, look at the green mass on the mini-map as well. Mista coming across the map to try and save his team. VortiX's army arrives to defend, but is it a little too late? Are they going to get 2 1v1s in a row? Or 2v1s in a row? I'm not sure. So much idle time, but here's the fight. Mista to the rescue.
So many villagers getting picked off. Los Pollos Hermanos had a significant villager lead prior to this battle, but now they're down by 20 villagers, not to mention the traders. They used to be up by about 10. Now they're down by 20.
And I can tell you for a fact that if you have this man-at-arm timing with Armorclad and you have made 22 Armorclad man-at-arms, your life goal was not to be in the north corner of the map right now. Your goal was to be under your opponent's TC, and he couldn't be further from it right now. So this is a really brutal spot for Mista to have to get dragged to. So just really good timing from Puppy Paw and Wham to execute that attack. And even though they're taking some harass at home, it's not nearly as devastating as what just happened to VortiX. VortiX's score has tanked. He's got no trade compared to Wham, and his vill count devastated.
Let's take a look at what his villager count is at the moment. We're right on board with VortiX and just understand a bit more. 19 villagers, 15 military.
He's dead. We saw all of them on the screen. They're all eating sheep right now. He's completely wrecked.
Where do we even go from here? I feel like the best place is just make a second town center, start again. You gotta start booming.
You just hope that Mista can carry. Like, I don't know. It seems dicey. Mista's getting raided in the north, so he's got to have to use man-at-arms to defend against knights, which never feels good. Meanwhile, this fight, if he gets cleaned up here, it's probably game, but if he wins this engagement, things could look good. And
it's not looking terrible so far. Plenty of men-at-arms here, but the age-ups come through for both of these guys on the west side of the map. And it's going to mean that crossbows are out on the field shortly.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. If this push works, it's worth it. But like beyond that, there's not much left for the game, right? Like, huge army rolls into his town as well, but a lot of army to defend. Mista. Okay. Don't tell me the odds, but what are the odds that Mista holds this in 2v1s for a while?
Pretty low, I would say. Man-at-arms just going to get cleaned up completely by the knights.
Are you sure?
Oh, actually.
Right here?
Oh.
I think Mista and VortiX win this fight.
Maganel. Ooh. Swing and a miss. Oh.
Really good response from Mista, though, to not eat it there.
Yeah.
And he just needs 2 man-at-arms on it. Yeah, but man-at-arm wave came out for Wham, so he's countering the man-at-arms with man-at-arms. The knights get good situations, the longbows aren't going to be able to do it, and the army's getting cleaned up. But front, he's able to take another. Looks okay for him here, but retreating from the base of Puppy Paw was not where they needed to be right now. They needed to be punching in and dealing damage long term.
Just like this right now. Yeah, exactly like this right now. I'd love to see crossbows coming out from Wham, but we haven't seen any just yet. Yeah,
it feels like maybe some overconfidence in the knights to just hold when you're down this much like material on the board, right? Although it doesn't look like that's gonna last. 56 to 37 military, just a few more fights, and Wham and Puppy Paw should be able to consolidate. But behind this, the vill count even out to just 15 lead.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
It's not terrible, is it? But I guess also keep in mind there are 20 traders. There are also military schools, so there's still a deficit that is quite significant.
This is tough, though. I think this is looking pretty rough now. I don't. If Mista can maintain this, it's gonna be okay. But the military count is dwindling. Well, it grows for the enemy.
They're doing a decent job to keep Puppypaw and Wham on their side of the map, though, right? Like, because that's what you want to be doing. You want to be running around them, and that's buying you time. Whether you're trading, whether you're getting a second town center in, you need to be buying time right now, because that's the only way you're going to get back into this game. Killing villagers, running your enemy's military around, these are all going to be key factors in getting back into this game. So everything they're doing is textbook. But the real issue they're going to have is that a lot of villages have been taken out by VortiX. Or rather, a lot of VortiX's villages have been taken out.
I saw a really good question in the chat, and I'm wondering if you know. That little trader indicator on top.
Yep.
Is that additive
Yep.
over?
Yep.
So they're at 121.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Copium needed. This is rough. I mean, they're rating the trade now. It's looking okay, maybe.
It's yeah, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. I mean, we could double check right now. We can just add up Wham and Puppypaw. Let's have a look from their perspective and see if we can measure. There we go. There's the first one, 51. And we check the second one. And 75. So there you go. So absolutely miles ahead. Yeah, it is the total.
Yep. Yep. Puppypaw hits Castle Age. VortiX still stuck behind in the Feudal Age. Going to be looking for some way to deal with this. The archers come out. Vet Archer, Vet Spear going to try and take an engagement here against this army. It's a lot of archers though.
Yeah.
And plenty of man-at-arms to match the man-at-arms. The Night Charge comes in, and it looks like Mista's army's going to get completely wiped here. Yeah. With some time. It'll take a bit, but with some time.
It will take time, yes, but yeah, definitely not the best. Just see Mangonel coming out as well, looking to add to the fun, but Puppypaw doing the right thing, focusing down all the longbowmen. And now those melee armored units from Wham clean up the rest of that military. And now the military advantage is severely in favor, significantly in favor of 3 beavers and a turkey. Decent mango shot.
I'll never get over that name, by the way. I think it's just a great name.
It is a very good name, a very solid name, yes. 3 beavers and a turkey. We got a lot of a lot of good
animals.
Yeah,
GG
a lot of
just
animals.
Gets called here. A little dragged on. I think I understand when you're in a tournament of this stake to just play it on and see if you can do something with Mista's position, but when one of your players is on 15 pop and you haven't done a ton of damage to the enemy, I think look at the bill count. That dive was so brutal, so devastating. He just got destroyed during that, and it kind of looked like he was okay, but with all the running he was doing and the idling, but he didn't have any outposts. So like he had 15 guys in the TC and everybody else died, right? Yeah, can we go to economy unit count as well as military? Yeah, military here looking
pretty
good for
much,
Mista in the mid game.
There's the economy count. Tells the story of Wham, who was indeed trading.
Yeah, really good. Really, really good stuff. I don't know why VortiX was at 27. It looks like he's actually over 30 when he died, and when we looked, he had 15 bills. So I don't know what was going on there with the timeline.
I've noticed the timeline's not accurate.
Yeah.
I will do a Song Dynasty, like 2 TC boom, and my enemy will be on 1 TC, and the timelines will look like they're basically like not next to each other, but kind of like running in the same direction. I'm like, bro,